Okay, we've got a question regarding what's the benefit, what's the purpose of al-ittiba' and Raml?
Al-ittiba' wal-Ramal. Al-ittiba' wal-Ramal are two Arabic words referring to the two traditions which the pilgrims are supposed to perform in their very first tawaf, which is known as Tawaf al-Qudum, or the arrival tawaf. Whether the person is performing Umrah in any time of the year or coming to perform Umrah and Hajj. So he begins by the Umrah, of course. The very first tawaf is known as Tawaf al-Qudum, the arrival tawaf. This tawaf will be distinguished from the rest of the tawafs, which we discussed before, by doing two things. As sunan, they do not affect the validity of the tawaf if the person could not do it or did not even do it deliberately. Al-ittiba' wal-Ramal. Al-ittiba' is to uncover the right shoulder. As we see in the videos people perform in Hajj. They uncover the right shoulder, that's for men. And they bring the end of the rida to wrap it around the left shoulder. Leaving the right shoulder uncovered. Throughout the 7 rounds of the very first tawaf. And once the tawaf is over, they straighten the rida to cover both shoulders. What we see from some people that praying sunnat at-tawaf, keeping the right shoulder being uncovered, is wrong. And I advise the viewers who are going to perform Umrah or Hajj at any day, not to hesitate to give the sincere advice, because those people do not know. So our role is to enjoin what's right and forbid what's evil. Especially the Prophet ﷺ prohibited a person from praying without covering his shoulders. Same thing, it is very strange to see people, and actually a magnitude of people, making sa'i while uncovering the right shoulder. Why is that? This is ibadah related only to the very first tawaf. What is the story of that? Let me also mention al-Ramal first. Al-Ramal is to walk briskly, and that's for men only as well. Only in the first 3 rounds. Knowing the history would clarify why do we have to do that. Of course, in the 6th year after Hijrah, the Prophet ﷺ had a dream that he performed Umrah and he entered Mecca and so on. So he motivated his companions, and approximately 1,400 of them joined the Prophet ﷺ in the year to perform Umrah. But the Meccans did not allow them, so they came outside in a place called al-Hudaybiyah, and the Meccans reached to a truce with the Muslims that they will go back and they would not perform Umrah this year. Then the rest of the elements or the articles of the treaty, which is known as Sulh al-Hudaybiyah. Next year, they came to perform Umrah and they only had 3 days. Okay? Coming from Al-Madinah, they were sick, and most of them had fever, and they were worn out due to the journey, and there was no time to rest. So the Meccans climbed the mountains to watch closely how much the Muslims would suffer after this long journey, being so exhausted. That's laughable. So they wanted to mock at, to make fun of the Muslims who are very, very weak, and they're going to do the manasik as well. So the Prophet ﷺ ordered the companions to uncover the right shoulder as a sign of strength, and to jog or walk briskly. Of course, the point or the purpose was fulfilled. So when the Meccans noticed that the Muslims are actually jogging, they're very strong. So they said to one another, are those the same people whom you said that they're weak and sick? Look at that. And then the Prophet ﷺ felt pity for the Muslims and said, mission been accomplished. Now walk slowly. Walk normally. Now there is no unbelievers, idolaters in Mecca. Why do you have to do that? At-tashri' or legislations is not limited to a certain time. Same thing with shortening our prayer. It was actually prescribed due to being unsafe, unsecure, afraid of the disbelievers might rob you, interrupt your journey. So that's why you're allowed to pray shortly. But this is a gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given us. So it's extended throughout until the Day of Judgment. Okay? Same thing among the traditions which the companions have memorized and practiced from Prophet Muhammad ﷺ after his death even, is al-ittiba' and al-Ramal. I'm confirming once again, these two practices are only in the very first tawaf. And after that, there is no ittiba' whatsoever.
Jazakallah.